Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal and today we are going to understand about bilingual method in the subject pedagogy of a school subject English. Bilingual method is a very unique method, students, which actually allows us to teach in a way that the students are comfortable as well as teachers are comfortable. So, what is bilingual method? Let's understand about it. Now, in today's class, my learning objectives are to develop a good understanding for the concept of bilingual method of teaching English, how the bilingual method works in the class, what are the main principles behind using the bilingual method, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and how it should be actually used and what things should be avoided in the classroom. These are the learning objectives of today's class, and I hope my students are going to learn about it in the learning outcomes. So let's introduce the bilingual method first of all. What is bilingual method? It is one of many teaching methods of English language. In earlier lectures, we have studied about approach, method, and techniques. So this is one of the method that is used in English language teaching, and it is a very useful method. CJ Dodson has given us this method and he given this method in 1967. This method is students used mainly to teach the foreign languages or any other language in which the student is not very used to or not very comfortable. So learning language is itself a very different and little difficult task also. So this bilingual method is used for that purpose. And many schools in India use this method where two languages, that is mother tongue and the target language, are used. It is not only about English language, maybe it is about Sanskrit, French, German. So bilingual method is used by the teachers as they use the mother tongue also to achieve the target language, and here it is English language what we are talking about. So understand it in a very unique way, students, that bilingual method is something that is the opposite of direct method. Now, just to recap about direct method is a method in which the student or teachers are not allowed, not actually they are restricted to use the target language only. They are not using any other language, or they are not finding the support of mother tongue to explain the meanings of difficult words. So here it is about direct method, but now we are discussing today about bilingual method. So where the direct method doesn't allow us to include any other language or mother tongue, bilingual method gives us this privilege to include some meaning or translation in this method. So just try to understand it in this way, that when we are teaching our students English language, which is a foreign language, so the students are not accustomed to it in a very earlier stages. So then the teachers are allowed to use the bilingual method so that the understanding level of the English language is actually converted into interest, and they are more happy to translate, or they are more happy to learn the basics of English language. So this is about something, the bilingual method, and let's understand more about it. This method is based on the principles of similarities as well as differences, which is found between the two languages. So why we are using bilingual method? Because in one language we are not understanding something. Maybe it is a sentence, maybe it is a vocabulary that our student is not understanding. So in that case, students, we find any other supportive language, and that can be mother tongue or the regional language, which the students are understanding very well. So we are finding the similarity of the word that and also differences of the word, opposites of the words. So what the child is easily understanding. So these may be of situation that once in one particular language the situation is not understood, but in another language the situation is very well understood. It may be sounds, vocabulary, or the sentence structures and many pronunciation or many action verbs. So these are few things that the students are actually understanding when they are using the bilingual method. Bilingual means using two languages when understanding any concept. And students, I just remind you again that in English language, we are having four devices basically, which are prose, poetry, grammar, and composition. All right. So prose, poetry, grammar, composition itself, they are huge in their nature. So when the students are understanding any poem, and when there are some difficult key terms which the students are not able to understand, then by that time bilingual method is adopted to understand the illustrations, understand the explanation or the rhythm, rhyming scheme of the poem in a very natural way. So, in nutshell, the poem is understood. The poetess or poet's idea is very well grasped by the students if we are taking the help of any other language. So, if the learner, the teacher understands these differences, that one language is having differences from the another language, which might be, I told you, regional language or the um, current language which the person is using, mother tongue we can call it. So the learning of the target language is facilitated in that way very considerably. So it is making something on easier platform. So the students are learning English language in comfortable environment because they are adjoining their own language, own mother tongue when they are learning some other language, what we call it in Hindi, in our own language. Okay, then the concept is easily understood and it really takes less time when we are explaining something in from with the help of bilingual method. So when the child is learning his mother tongue, he becomes acquainted with the situations and picks up the language very easily and correctly. No need to tell you, students, that when a child is born and brought up in a particular regional area, then there are no extra efforts from the side of parents or the society or the siblings or anyone else important in the society, might be it's a school, that no extra effort is put up in that case, that you are putting up extra efforts for learning the mother tongue. In day-to-day situations, daily situations, children learn it in a very natural way. You don't need to explain them each and everything again and again. If you are calling a spoon in Hindi chammach, so it is always understood by the child that it is a chammach, and the spoon vocabulary is not inculcated in his mind. But when it comes to English language, and when you are showing a spoon to your student, the child is understanding with the shape of the object that it is a spoon, which the language teacher is understanding. It is a spoon. But the child is looking at the shape and the child is understanding that it is a chammach, not spoon. So this is the difference, and this is the similarity, that in the same the same object is addressed as different words in different languages. So when the teacher is now introducing the child that this chammach is called spoon in English language, or the target language may be any other word. So the students learn it more effectively. So this is the role of bilingual method, because child is becoming acquainted with the situations, and along with situation the child is acquainted with the objects also. So it makes the child to learn the language very easily and correctly. Now scope of making errors is least now. So while learning the foreign language, the teacher can create some situations again in order to make the child learn the foreign language. So this is about bilingual method, that you have to understand that a situation is given to the student when the student is actually accumulating few words of mother tongue as well as regional language to understand, to facilitate more vocabulary in English language. So we all know that English is the common language for communication, as there are many regional languages in India, students. But this is the common language for communication. Many people who are North Indian, maybe they are not very well versed in English language, but if you go to South, they are well versed with English language. So if you want to communicate with your own country people, then English is the best common language to talk to them. But the question arises when you have regional language, mother tongue also, and you are not understanding few words of English language. Then people think that English education gives their children good life and future. When someone understands English language, and parents when send their children to the English medium schools, they think that now their future is bright and they will learn English language. This is how they take English language as very important. So we all know that this is a significant language in today's era. Now, this is the time when bilingual method allows the teacher and pupils to use two languages together. Bilingual. There may be trilingual also, but basically we are learning today about bilingual. So, bilingual method allows the teacher and pupils to use two languages altogether. One is the target language, or we can call English language, to be learned, and the other mother tongue, which is used to achieve and target language of English language. So this is how English is combined with regional language or mother tongue, and then its meaning is understood. So students, bilingual method is suitable to Indian multicultural context where people speak different regional languages. There are many religions in our country, and different religions, different regions are here. So people are not using one language all over the India. They are speaking different languages. So the important contribution of this method, bilingual method, is that it had made possible for the students to get both quantitative and qualitative acquisition of language skills. So in quantity as well as quality, the recognition of language skills, which are reading, speaking, listening, writing, so as RW skills, are actually well known by the students. Because if students are listening and if they are not getting the sounds with their meaning, as I'm speaking and you are getting the sounds with meaning also, because you have you are used to often listening this language. But if students are not used to of listening those sounds which are being spoken by the teacher, then it becomes little difficult, and then the sounds are actually introduced to the students, or the students are made understood with the help of mother tongue. Okay, this is the sound of in English language, and in mother tongue we call this word this. So this is the contribution of bilingual method. So it is very, very suitable in Indian multicultural context, where there are so many cultures, variety of cultures. Now, after understanding about what is bilingual method and how it is very important in Indian perspectives, now let's understand about what is the belief behind bilingual method. Why bilingual method was actually started? Why it is given so importance? So Professor C.J. Dodson Wills, who developed this bilingual method of foreign language teaching in 1967 as a counterpart of the audio-visual method, and he set out audio-visual method is you are looking at something and you are listening something. He just developed this bilingual method in that counterpart just to in against, okay, so to make improvements in to the audio visual method. So this was the belief behind that. There was a time when audio visual method was used to learn the English language, but CJ Dodson felt that with audio visual method also the facilitation is little poor of learning the English language. So in this method, there are two revolutionary principles, students, based on the results of scientifically controlled experiments in primary and secondary schools. So this method allows the teacher and pupils to use two languages together. One is the target language to be learned, and the other is mother tongue, which is used to achieve the target language English. So this is how it was developed. In this, the teacher frequently reads and transforms the next into mother tongue of the pupil. So in bilingual method, there are three main stages of any language lesson, or the traditional three P's we are talking about, that is presentation, practice and production. I repeat, there are three P's in bilingual method which actually involves the stages of any language lesson: presentation, practice and production. That means presentation is being given by the teacher how the language is learned. You all know how you will teach the grammar lesson plan with the help of inductive deductive method. So in that case, we are going to present the concept of grammar in a very beautiful manner with the help of teaching aids also. So once the teacher has presented, now the students are supposed to practice that presentation which is given by teacher. So when the students are finding it little difficult to practice the concept, then bilingual method is actually inculcated. So by production, I mean that students are actually creating or just framing more and more sentences on the same concept. Maybe the students have learned about the concept of adjectives, and few adjective words are not understood by them in English language, or maybe the target language we call it. So when target language is not successful to enable the students to understand the particular word meaning, then we take the help of mother tongue. Okay, so by that time the student is understanding it quickly, and the student is actually producing more and more sentences on adjectives by using particular adjectives words. So this is about 3 P's: presentation, practice and production. The advocates of bilingual method students believe that it is merely wastage of time, as there is duplicity of the same thing. So there are some different opposite beliefs also, that this merely believes just wastes the time of the teacher as well as the learner. because we keep on trying to understand it in a different language again and again. But it is also like one can utilize the save time for guidance, giving practice and sentence pattern. So it is the another belief behind bilingual method. Now let's understand some principles of the bilingual method, how bilingual method is working. What are the principles? Again, I'm repeating my previous told thing that principles are something when many of the scholars have tested something and now they have come to the conclusion, yes, this is perfect, this is all right, this is applicable to this concept. So that concept is called principles. So, number one principle is that people can understand the words and sentences in foreign languages easier by the use of mother tongue. This is the one basic principle, that if you are learning a foreign language and if it is being telling the meaning of a particular word or a particular sentence is given to you in your own mother tongue, then it is becoming little easy for you to understand that language. And in the classroom, the teacher doesn't need to create any artificial situations. In direct method, we face so many problems that even if the students are not responding, not understanding the clear meaning of anything in English language, then teacher has to do some extra efforts like making some action words, like making some drawing on the board, or you can just do some act in front of the student so that they can get the exact word meaning. But bilingual method doesn't actually force us to create these type of artificial situations while teaching or explaining the meaning of words and sentences of the target language. So it is becoming more easier in that way. So bilingual method is the combination of direct method and GTM, grammar translation method. In grammar translation method also, it is about that once we are giving the presentation, then practice and then drill. So in drill part, we are translating something. So translating and using direct method, we are not actually leaving anything up to the one language only. It is to be understood, students. So the basic principles behind using the bilingual methods, that to make the words and sentences of foreign language easier for the students, and not to create artificial situations in the classroom, and thirdly, to follow the combination of direct method as well as GTM, grammar translation method. I hope you have understood this much. Now, advantages of bilingual method. Many advantages have been given by many scholars for bilingual method. And of course, it is being taught in Indian classroom and the students are actually very comfortable with this method. They're understanding the target language as well as they are keeping alive their vocabulary in mother tongue also. So, firstly, we will see that teacher is able to teach English to the entire satisfaction of the students. There are different IQ level of students, and we know it, students, that all the students are not same in our classroom. Some of the students are brilliant IQ, and many of the students are with average IQ and with lower IQ also. But in that case, if the brilliant IQ student is learning the target language very fast, then we cannot say as a teacher that okay, we can move forward and we can neglect those two, average IQ students and low IQ students. So in that case, English is taught by using the bilingual method to make their understanding more effective. So it is important in that way. So satisfaction of entire students is very, very important. Secondly, the students are also able to understand English well. Initially, when we are taking the help of mother tongue or regional language to understand few words and sentences, maybe we are translating or maybe we are giving a particular word to mother tongue meaning. So students are understanding, but gradually you, as a teacher, you will realize that students are now understanding the English language in a very good way. They have been actually accustomed to understanding it. You don't need to repeat, which I have told you, like spoon and chammach, where then after some time when you will tell spoon, they will easily understand because they have that vocabulary chammach in their mind. But then at the same time they have the vocabulary of spoon also in their mind. Okay, so active and passive vocabulary plays a very good role in that condition. Then students, thirdly, right use of mother tongue by the teacher does not spoil the environment of teaching English. It just helps in teaching English better. Sometimes it happens, students, that when the students are not understanding a particular word or sentence in the classroom, then maybe the classroom situation or environment is getting spoiled. It may be due to getting restless as not understanding. Maybe the teacher is getting restless as not able to teach in that way, or maybe the students are frustrated as not understanding that particular target language. So right use of mother tongue is actually very much appreciated as it helps in teaching English better. As a teacher, when teacher is using mother tongue to explain English language, it becomes little comfortable for the point of view of students, that they will understand the concept. Either it is very difficult prose part of Bacon's essay, for example, then they will understand if you are giving little bits examples from mother tongue also. Then this method helps in developing fluency in spoken English. Yes, of course, this is another advantage of bilingual method. As I told you, eventually students are understanding the English language and now they remove their hesitation for speaking English because they are understanding the language with the help of their own mother tongue. So in that condition, they are developing fluency in spoken English also. Then fifth is about bilingual method also helps in giving proper training for different skills, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing. This is about giving proper training to the students. How it is giving proper training? Let me make you very clear that when the students are listening, suppose you are telling them a story and you are just narrating the story in a very good way. You are using actions. Once upon a time, there was a king. You are using everything in a very nice pitch. But somewhere in between, the students are not getting the particular word. They are not understanding the meaning. Then by that time, you are using the mother tongue or another language to make them understanding what you have spoken. In the same way, speaking, when the child is starting to speak, the child is actually making efforts to speak, but he is missing some word that, okay, what do we call that in English? We are not understanding. Then you are putting up that English language word into that word which the child is using as a mother tongue. So overall, it is enhancing the use of language skills, basically LSRW skills. Then sixth point is about the use of mother tongue saves a lot time. Yes, of course, it saves time. When I'm you going to explain each and everything with the help of direct method only, definitely students, it is going to take a lot of time from a teacher to explain everything. But with bilingual method, the process which is going to take 15 minutes or sometimes maybe more than that, the teacher is just going to explain that in within 2 to 5 minutes. So complex things can be easily explained in the mother tongue. So these were the advantages of bilingual method. I hope you have understood. Now let's have a look on disadvantages of bilingual method. What are the disadvantages of bilingual method? Let's have a look. So first of all, using this method, the teacher teaches English through English language, and sometimes he uses his mother tongue, and this practice diverts the attention of the students. Yes, believe me, students, sometimes it happens that continuous use of bilingual method actually hampers the attention level of the students, what they are trying to, what they are making effort to understand the English language in English only. And sometimes it happens that the teacher of English language may not be good in both the language. Maybe the teacher is good in English language, but he or she is not good in mother tongue which the child is using. He doesn't get perfection. In that case, he doesn't get perfection, and the child is actually learning so many things. So by that time, the language as his labor is also distributed between the two languages. The use of mother tongue while teaching English language may spoil the continuity and fluency of the language. When you are reciting a poem, the students, maybe they are enjoying after some time, that students are enjoying, students are learning, and teacher is also learning. But all the time when there is a thought in the mind of teacher that my students are maybe not going to understand this particular word, so an extra effort is actually required from the point of view of teacher, from the part of teacher. So this actually practice may spoil the continuity and fluency of the language. So it is the possibility that a few students in the class may be more attentive to mother tongue sounds and less attentive to English sounds. This may also happen that when you are speaking English, students are in passive mode. Okay, ma'am is going to explain us this thing in Hindi also. So as a result, their pronunciation may become defective because they are not paying attention to that language. This is actually the psychological thing from the part of their students, that when the teacher is actually taking the help of bilingual method to teach any concept of English language, then some of the students are readily adjusting with both the languages in which the teacher is explaining the particular concept. But some of the students are paying attention to English language only. By that time, when the teacher shifts to mother tongue, they find it disturbing that why teacher is using again and again mother tongue. On the contrary, understand this in that way also, that if the teacher is using mother tongue to explain something, then there are some students who will pay attention to only mother tongue because they will think that teacher is going to explain something in our own language. So don't you worry for, don't you bother for that English language. So in nutshell, what will happen? The basic actually requirement will be not fulfilled. Basic objective will not be fulfilled what you have decided as an English teacher. So these are the advantages of bilingual method, students. So in conclusion, we can say that English is the common language for communication and the medium of instruction in educational institutions and government and private offices. This is a common language for communication. Of course, it is the link language and major window to the world, as Jawaharlal Nehru has also said. And all these circumstances suggest that our students should learn English. We cannot escape ourselves from learning English language, for which the bilingual method is suitable to Indian multicultural context where people speak different regional languages. Are you getting my point, students? So, different regional languages where they are speaking English is very, very important. And according to Professor H.N.L. Shastri of CIEFL Hyderabad, he said that bilingual method is a quite effective in Indian conditions where the students are actually learning target language with the help of bilingual method. So the important contribution of this method is that it had made possible for the students to get both quantitative as well as qualitative acquisition of language skills. Now, students, these are some references. You can go through them and study more about bilingual method. Now, let's have some general questions of MCQs at the end of my class, and I hope you will understand them. And these are some general questions and understand and enhance your English language skills in a very good way. So, a test of listening comprehension is a test of receptive skill, productive skill, hearing skill, phonology. So, the answer is receptive skill. Next is organization of arguments and ideas in paragraphs is an important aspect of writing essays, writing memos, writing stories, writing personal letters. Yes, it is about writing essays when we organize the arguments and ideas in a paragraph form in an important aspect. So next we are going to talk about brainstorming, and it means option A, to collect all kinds of ideas on a topic, to do some mental exercise, to make efforts to understand something, to give some kind of stimulus to the brain, and the correct answer is to collect all kinds of ideas on a topic. So next is interactive listening is listening and responding, or listening for mood or tone, listening for word stress and emphasis, listening for finding out speaker's attitude. Yes, the correct answer is listening and responding as well. Which of the following is an incorrect assumption in language teaching? So incorrect assumption is language teaching should give importance to writing rather than speech. This is incorrect assumption, and the correct assumption is learners acquire language by trying to use it in real situations. We have studied about situational approach, so don't forget it. Learners' first language plays an important role in learning. This is also the correct assumption. And then correct assumption, language teaching should have a focus in communicative activities. Then next is reading skill can be developed best by. So yes, of course, it can be developed best by focusing on the use of words from context in the text. Mother tongue influence can be effectively minimized in the classroom by giving inputs from the target language in a simple graded manner, which we have studied just now. Now it's about practice of grammatical structure in a controlled manner can be done by, yes, of course, it is gap filling grammar exercises. Through this method, the grammatical structures are practiced in a more effective way. A test which is administered at the end of language course is called diagnostic test. Okay, students. So study of meaning in language, study of meaning in a language is known syntax. So this is called syntax. Okay. So this was all about today's class, students, and we have understood about bilingual method, how it is very important in English language teaching as well as English language learning. And I hope you will apply this knowledge in your teaching and learning as well. Just take care and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.